An Arkansas native was one of 3 soldiers killed this week in Afghanistan. The U.S. Department of Defense says Army Sergeant First Class Eric Edmond died when the vehicle he was in ran over an improvised explosive device. 3 other soldiers and a contractor were injured in that attack as well. The 39-year-old is from Springdale and was stationed in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Edmond served more than 20 years in the Army and Marine Corps. This was his 7th overseas tour. He also co-founded the Mass Fallen Heroes nonprofit organization for Gold Star families and vets. This morning, a White County deputy is on administrative leave after being shot on the job. Investigators say the deputy was called to a home just after 7 last night in Mount Vernon. When he arrived, they say the suspect opened the door and started shooting. The deputy was shot in the chest, but he was wearing his bulletproof vest. He was able to arrest the suspect, and then he was taken to the hospital to be evaluated. The suspect's name has not been released.
We have an update now to a story we first told you about Tuesday. A Garland County parolee is now in jail and facing additional charges after a deputy-involved shooting. Deputies say they shot 22-year-old Dylan Ellis after he rammed a patrol car at a car wash. He's also accused of driving a stolen vehicle. Investigators identified Patrol Sergeant Jeremy Simpson as the deputy who fired his gun, and he is currently on administrative leave. Well, after a 3.5-year manhunt, a Kentucky man is now in jail in Fayetteville. Ranger Lacey is accused of possessing close to 40,000 pictures of minors engaging in sexually explicit conduct. FBI agents had been looking for him since he skipped his arraignment in July of 2015. He now faces 20 years in prison.
Former professional boxer Jermaine Taylor is back in jail again after being arrested for the 3rd time in 3 months. This time he's accused of not paying child support. Taylor has a $5,300 cash-only bond. We now know the names of people involved in a murder-suicide in Jonesboro. Officers found Terry Hardcastle and Johnny Cook dead inside of a home Tuesday. An infant was also found inside that home. Now, a family member is now taking care of the child. Police say Hardcastle and Cook lived at the home for a short time. More information will be released after an examination. Survivors of last summer's mass shooting at Power Ultra Lounge filing a lawsuit yesterday, claiming the club owner and employees did not do enough to protect people that night.
In the 22-page lawsuit, lawyers say the irresponsible operation of the club is the reason for their clients' injuries. At this point, 19 people have joined the suit. They're suing for emotional and physical damages. The attorneys and clients believe the club could have prevented this. Well, Ricky Hampton, who was performing that night, 25 people were shot, is scheduled to be sentenced on gun charges next month. But this case relates to another shooting that took place in Forest City. Earlier this month, he decided not to change his guilty plea in that case. As for his bodyguard, Kentrell Gwynn, he faces charges as a result of the Little Rock shooting. Today, a historic promotion for the state of Arkansas. Army Lieutenant Colonel Erica Ingram will be the first female African-American colonel in the Arkansas National Guard.
Yeah, the Guard recently promoted the first Hispanic and Native American female colonels. As Stephanie Sharp reports, the high-ranking minority female officers say it's like a sisterhood.
Don't be afraid to go for it.
The museum on Camp Robinson in North Little Rock holds records of historic events involving the Arkansas National Guard.
Turns out 22 years later, here I am.
And history that's still being made today.
Very exciting for me as a personal achievement.
On Thursday, Lieutenant Colonel Erica Ingram will be promoted to colonel.
A mix of emotions, incredibly humbled and appreciative. Because I definitely didn't get here by myself. I get really emotional.
She gets choked up. She's the first female African-American colonel in the Arkansas National Guard.
I'd like to think that I'm just the first that just happened to have had the opportunities and the jobs to prepare me to compete at this level.
Earlier this year, Tina Lipscomb was promoted to become the first female Hispanic Arkansas Air National Guard colonel.
It's going to be fun and exciting, and I'm happy for her.
And in 2012, Mary Gardner was promoted the first Arkansas Air National Guard female Native American colonel.
It's probably more of being a support system for each other.
Working together and seeing the results is amazing.
It might go down in history. They say they have accomplished a lot serving their country, regardless of being a female minority.
I am the first, and that's quite noticeable, that people also understand that I've earned it and I've actually achieved certain milestones in order to become the first.